It's important to understand that things have changed. The way organisations approach IT is not the same as it was 10 years ago. In this new push towards modern IT, there are new capabilities and requirements to consider, and new expectations from end users around what they expect from devices. This is bringing around change in the way Windows devices are deployed and managed too. But the reality is we're still living in a world that still has lots of classic or traditional IT, and there's real tension here. IT departments have built themselves around traditional PC lifecycle, managing images, controlling updates, locking down behaviour and protecting users. But IT needs to evolve and adapt. We don't think that this should be an either or. Our approach is to allow you to do both and to modernise at your own pace, to manage risk in a smart way, to take advantage of cloud and modern IT, but also give you the tools and capabilities to bring that design point to your existing investments so you aren't throwing everything out. Let's focus on the deployment of Windows 10. Traditionally, organisations spent a lot of time building custom Windows images with all the settings, applications, policies and drivers needed for all different types of devices being used in that organisation. That would then need to be deployed to each new computer, overwriting whatever operating system image was originally installed on it by the OEM. And they spent a lot of time themselves optimising that OS image for the specific device. For organisations to re-image the device with their own custom Windows image while still having a good experience with the device, it takes a lot of time. And since time means money, that makes this an expensive proposition. Compare that to a more modern approach, take the device out of the box, turn it on and transform it with minimal user interaction, and maybe not even IT involvement, into a device that's ready for productive use. That leverages the optimized image provided by the OEM and greatly simplifies the entire process. With the cloud-driven AutoPilot, new devices don't need to be touched by any IT staff. They can be sent directly to the end user, saving lots of time and effort. And the end user doesn't need to do anything beyond putting in their email address and password to authenticate that they belong to the organisation. The rest of the process is completely automated. It's possible to tie this in with your overall supply chain. When devices are ordered from an OEM, reseller or distributor, they can be automatically associated with your organisation and maybe even drop shipped directly to the end user. To make this work, there are a few key technologies being used. The Windows AutoPilot deployment service, which knows about the devices that belong to the organisation. Azure Active Directory, which authenticates the user and drives the MDM enrolment process. Microsoft Intune or other third-party MDM services, which complete the configuration of the device and ensure that it's properly managed once the setup is complete. Office 365 Pro Plus, which can be streamed to the Windows 10 device directly from the cloud. So what does an organisation need to do to use AutoPilot? There are a few simple steps. First, each new device needs to be registered with Windows AutoPilot deployment service. Then a profile of settings need to be assigned to each new device, controlling how the device is configured prior to when the MDM service can complete the setup. Once those steps are done, the device can be shipped to the end user. Let's look at how this works. First, we need the device IDs for all the new devices that are being deployed. Those device IDs can be provided to you by the hardware vendor, or if you've got existing devices that you want to try out, you can harvest those device IDs yourself with a simple script. Either way, once you have the device IDs, they can be uploaded to Windows AutoPilot deployment service. Once uploaded, you can configure a profile of settings that should be applied. Eventually, the hardware vendors should be able to do these steps for you, further simplifying the process. Then you're ready to ship the device directly to the member of the organisation. They get it out of the box, they turn it on, and connect it to a network. At that point, it can query the Windows AutoPilot deployment service to see how it should be configured. Once the user has provided their email address and their password, the rest of the process is entirely automated. Let's look at the entire process from the perspective of the end user. When a device boots up for the first time, it starts the out-of-the-box experience. The user needs to select a language, a region, keyboard layout, and optional second keyboard layout. For most users, they will just accept the defaults and quickly click through these screens. The next step is to connect to a network. For devices with a Wi-Fi connection, this requires that the user selects a Wi-Fi network and authenticates to it. This could be a corporate network, a home network, or even a public Wi-Fi hotspot anywhere in the world. Some networks may require agreeing to the terms and conditions or other manual web-based actions. Windows 10 now fully supports web captive portals like this during the initial setup process, so no issues using the local coffee shop network. Once connected, Windows can check with the Windows AutoPilot deployment service, as well as checking to see if there are any critical updates that need to be installed. If there are, they'll be downloaded and installed automatically. Since this device is registered with Windows AutoPilot, we can skip the rest of the settings, such as privacy, OEM device registration pages, skip questions like, is this a personal or work PC, and directly ask for your organisational identity, your email address. Notice that this screen is customised with the corporate logo and name, bringing that level of familiarity and trust to the user that's being asked for this information. Type in the email, and then the password. Once the authentication is complete, the rest of the process is entirely automated. The device will automatically join Azure Active Directory, enroll into Intune or another MDM service, and can be configured for productive use, applying settings, policies, and installing apps. After the Azure Active Directory join and MDM enrollment are completed, the user will be signed into Windows and see the first logon screen while their profile is being prepared. This takes a few minutes as apps are installed into the background and other one-time operations are performed. Once finished, you can see the desktop with a background image that roams from device to device automatically, along with other settings as part of the enterprise data roaming with Azure Active Directory. After a period of time, the device will be fully configured. Office 365 Pro Plus and other line of business apps can also automatically be installed. The user is configured as standard, else it would say admin in the user account page in settings. The device is joined into Azure AD. The device is enrolled into Intune. The device is automatically stepped up from Windows 10 Pro to Windows 10 Enterprise. And that's it. The device is ready for productive use.